Hi guys, welcome back. As promised, you would have seen in some of our recent videos, I've actually gone over to using some of these airtight containers. They've got a lockable top on them, and for anything that's in need of decent humidity, these things are absolutely ideal. And anything that isn't too big really, and they look quite smart as well. I mean, you've got one here. There's one sat there. That's got a male wandering spider in there. The Saley, the Cuprianus Saley. Now you'd have seen us putting him in that particular box very recently. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to actually show you how I drill these and prepare them and get them ready really. So one of the things to bear in mind with these is if you put them up to the light and you can see they have tiny imperfections in them. Some of them get scratches on them. Some of them look a bit, I mean here, this is quite rough on this side. It's not very good. Don't want to look at that, do we? So I pick the best side, and then, which is this side on this particular one. And then I put the lid on and shut it. This being the front of the enclosure. Yeah? So now I know this is the front. I don't want to drill this side. So what I do now is with some masking tape, I literally put it down like so. Like that. I'm going to do the same on this side. This is all very, very simple, and this is all stuff that you should have lying around at home. This is just basic masking tape. And the reason we put the masking tape on here is because now we can mark it and we can see exactly what we're doing. He says, now what did he do with his tape measure? That's good, isn't it? I've lost my tape measure, guys. Is it on the table?
Can't see it. Oh,
Yes, I can.
Right. Oh, what done with my other one? Oh dear. Right then, okay. So then, basically what we're going to do, this is our open side, this is our front side, so we don't put any air holes in the front at all. We want to keep this purely for viewing. Now then, we want to imagine where our substrate is going to be. If we want something that's going to keep something in here that's fairly humid, then we go for a little bit deeper substrate. If it doesn't need to be too much, then we can sort of bring it about here. So what I tend to do now is I look at that, I put my tape measure on there, and I measure that and see, right, I think to myself, I'm going to have, say, 2 inches, say for argument's sake, 2 inches of substrate in the bottom. So my first set of air holes, I would like to have them at around about 3 inches. So we put a little mark there, and we come over here and we put a little mark this side. And then we also want a second bunch of holes. We can see that the lid comes down to there. So we want a second bunch of holes in here. So we can add them, if we add them around about the 5.5 mark, that's quite near to the top. So we come over here, we do 5.5. So now we do that on all sides. So 3, 5.5, 3, 5.5, 3, 5.5, 3, 5.5. Right, and with our ruler, we literally run across like so. Now you might think this is a lot of mucking around really, just to drill a couple of holes, but I actually like things to look quite neat. And one of my pet hates is looking at an enclosure with a wavy line of air holes. It really messes with me to the point where I'll probably lose sleep. I really don't like it. You can see what poor old camera lady has to put up with, can't you?
He's wonderful.
So then, we've got them, so we've got our line. So now, I've got room here to put 3 holes. So we'll look at it there and we'll go 3, 5, 7. See? Just like so. Nice and uniform, you see? This is what we like. This will all look very neat when it's finished. 3, 5, 7. 3, 5, 7. 3, 5, 7. 3, 5, and 7. There you go. So now you get the general idea. We've worked out our height for our substrate. Our substrate is going to sit around about here. So we've got a set of holes at the bottom, a set of holes at the top. Now it's very important for ventilation that what will happen if you just run a set of holes all around the top, you're not really achieving anything. You're not getting the ventilation that you require. You must have, to get airflow, you must have holes at the bottom and holes at the top. And the reason being, as it warms up inside this enclosure, hot air rises and will get forced out of the holes at the top. That in turn will suck cold air from outside in the room in through the bottom. Hence you're getting a change of air. It's going all the time. It's moving all the time. Although we can't see it, it is actually moving. So if you imagine yourself in a draft, quite often it's your feet that get it first. This is because hot air has risen, cold air at the bottom. And the reason you're getting the draft around your feet is because the hot air is dragging it up. It's moving the air around. So that's why we do it the way we do it. Now then, also with the masking tape, you can see there that we've got we've managed to mark our holes up so we know exactly where they are. Now another interesting point here, one of the things I often see on social media in that, when I'm looking at other people's enclosures, is the size of the holes that you use for ventilation. Now, a big hole doesn't give you more ventilation. Yeah, so you must do it, like I'm saying, top and bottom to create the airflow. By doing that, you can use smaller holes. So you don't have these big ghastly holes through your enclosure, because I think they look absolutely ugly. So you can have nice small holes that doesn't upset your viewing. Things will look lovely all the time. Now for this particular enclosure, we are going to have very small things being fed in here. So there'll be things like fruit flies, tiny first stage roaches, micro crickets. And one of the big problems you'll all know, you throw small crickets into your tub to feed your sling, and what happens? 10 minutes later you're chasing them around the living room. You know, because they've all climbed out of the air holes because you put these dirty great big air holes in. So think, tiny little drill bit. This one's like a mil 1.5 I think this is. And that is all you need. And to be fair, if a little roach or a cricket can get out of a hole that this makes, he's welcome to it. Good luck to him. So what we're going to do, by putting the paper on as well, this has also saved the drill bit from slipping. Yeah? So it's nice and steady. Put it through. Now because we're using these particular tubs, these are actually like an acrylic. So we can drill them nice and easy without fear of damaging them or splitting them. And we literally just pop them in. Last couple. That's it. That's as easy as that. So now all we have to do now is take off our masking tape. Why is it the simplest things always get me? We just take off our masking tape, nice and clean. There we go. Now then, you'll see now, you've got little bits of swarf and that. Literally just rub them over with your finger. That takes care of them. They're not sharp. Now what I would do now is go and give this a really good wash, and then it's ready to go basically. Don't forget, you've got a nice viewing panel on the front there. We didn't put any air holes whatsoever, so that's all good to go. As you can see on this one's been cleaned, and you can see there got all this viewing space. But even so, even with our holes in there, you can see they do not detract from the viewing. We can still see, and you can see there as well by using that tiny little drill. These are plenty big enough to give you airflow. We don't want a hurricane going through there. We just need a swap of air. So right, well I hope that helped you out. It's a nice simple little thing. These are really cost effective as well. I think these cost about £1.70 each. So they're dirt cheap, and I mean you can put a reasonable sized spider in there, no problem at all. We have got smaller ones that are a little bit lower. You get different sizes. So yeah, I mean, give them a try. I say I'm experimenting with them at the moment. We're going to try and do a couple over for some wolf spiders next, and we'll put them in there and see how they get on. But they seem a nice secure little thing. I do like them. They're very smart. Right then, well I hope that was helpful and useful. And a bit of luck, I hope I've explained about airflow. It's very important that you get your head round top and bottom ventilation. That's what creates your airflow, and that's what will give you a nice atmosphere within your enclosures. By having just a single row, you end up with stagnant air inside your enclosure, which can't be very healthy for your spider. So he needs that airflow. So hopefully that's been explained, and yeah, go out, give them a go, and show us what you do. I would like to see many of you guys, subscribers that are on Facebook, on the different groups. So yeah, do a couple of these and post them up for me. I'd love to see what you get up to and how you do them. Yeah, I'm always up for stealing someone else's idea. I'd love to steal someone else's. If you can come up with something really cool, I can perhaps do one of my own. That'd be really nice. Right then, without further ado, don't forget, be calm, be gentle, and love your spiders. I'll see you again soon.